Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video. In today's video, I'll be talking about the Sacramento Kings and why I believe they won't suck for any longer and why I think they're a really good chance to end their long playoff drought. Without further ado, let's get started. The Sacramento Kings had a 31-41 record for the second year in a row, finishing in an identical spot in the 12th place in the Western Conference. Now, obviously, they were outside the play-in, and it kind of shows the stagnating of the team under Luke Walton. Now, in 2018-19, they had a 39-43 record under Dave Yorga. Now, unlucky for them that the play-in wasn't a thing back then. They ended up missing out in the playoffs by one placing, but there's a bit more optimism around the Kings this season. Now, last season, Darren Fox was brilliant for them, averaging 25 points and 7 assists. They've got him tied down long term. And then guys like Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Rashawn Holmes, Halliburton, who was a nice rookie addition, and Bagley were all averaging in the teens in terms of points per game. Now, the Sacramento Kings, have been rumored with Ben Simmons, but just before I touch on that, I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week, so I'd heavily appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Any support you guys can give me will be much appreciated, and if you have any Sacramento fans watching, please don't forget to comment what you guys think your team's going to do this season, and let's continue with the video. Now, going back to what I was saying about Ben Simmons, now the Kings have been one of the destinations rumored for Ben Simmons. Now, the Kings GM Monty McNair has cast doubt over, acquiring Ben Simmons, as he's on record as saying this is going to be our roster going in, and I look at our roster and see a lot of versatility. So I think that they're kind of waiting, I guess, biding their time when it comes to the situation with Ben Simmons. They don't obviously think they deliberately need him, that it's not something they need to go out of their way to go and do. Now, if they were to get him, the trade package would probably be something in the ballpark of Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and also a few future first-round draft picks. Now, I think this team would be hesitant to give up draft picks considering that they've picked inside of the top 10 of the NBA draft, I think 11 times during their playoff drought. So they're obviously, don't have the best track record. Granted, some of those years the team wasn't that talented, and I think that in terms of being a well-rounded rotation, I think that it's time for the excuses to end, and I feel like the Kings can break their never-ending cycle. Now, an interesting player to look at for them is Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley's been on the roster since being picked up in 2018, most notable for being picked ahead of guys like Trae Young and Luka Doncic. Now, I'm not gonna, get on the Kings back too much on that, given that they were in need of a kind of, they had Buddy Hield and they also had Darren Fox, so drafting either of in that position, isn't, the greatest fit. Now, obviously, you'd want to have Luka instead of Bagley. When you have talent, you're going to find ways to make things work. But going back on topic here, he was averaging 14 points, 7 rebounds, for basically 3 straight seasons. So he's been there and abouts in terms of his production, and the guy out of Duke needs to just, take a step forward in his development. Now, also, it's year 5 for Darren Fox, who's looking to break into the All-Star game for the first time. And despite trade rumors, Buddy Hield's still on the team and can provide them a steady flow of, shooting and scoring, whether starting or in a 6-man role. Now, they picked up Davion Mitchell at, pick 9 in the draft. Now, there was a bit of confusion, around this pick, but he did prove some of the doubters wrong, being the co-MVP of the Summer League, and he could be a great, player for over the next few years as a rotational type of guy. Now, whether you want that at pick 9 or not is a different argument for another video, but he'll be in contention for, rookie or first team, you'd think. Probably very likely to make a rookie team, by the numbers, given that he was in the top 10. Now, hopefully, they can take a step forward. They also acquired Alex Len, who can do a bit for them. Now, he's not going to be on too much money, obviously. That's the luxury of having someone like that on the roster. Now, they did lose Hassan Whiteside and DeLon Wright. However, they added a veteran presence in the form of Tristan Thompson. Now, Tristan Thompson obviously won a title in Cleveland, and he was traded from Boston to Sacramento on August the 7th. They ended up re-signing Rashawn Holmes, that Harley talked about, 4-year, $56 million deal. It might be $60 million, but it was a pretty good deal for them. Now, that wraps up the departures and stuff. Now, when we're looking at their salary cap, they're heavily over the cap this year, but that doesn't really matter given they've made most of their key roster moves. Now, next season they'll have 107.4 million committed, with guys like Darren Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes being signed. Marvin Bagley would need to be extended by that point, and then the year after that, in 2023-24, they're going to have around 44 million in cap space, probably just to fill out the roster around some of the pieces that may have left at that point. Now, just going to quickly go through the depth chart and just, outline what I think, the starting roster and like starting lineup will be. Now, at the point guard, obviously non-negotiable, Darren Fox, looking to break into an All-NBA All-Star type of guy. Buddy Hield at shooting guard. You probably could start Tyrese Halliburton too, swap them. Harrison Barnes, a steady presence, averaging 16.1 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists at small forward. Marvin Bagley, as we touched on before, he probably should get some minutes at the starting spot. And then Richaun Holmes, who was averaging 14 and 8. A great guy for them. They kind of got out of nowhere. And then guys like Harkless, Maytu, Thompson, Len, Davis, Davion Mitchell, and guys like that on the bench. And that brings me to the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment what you thought, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.